Peace and blessings. Welcome to another live. It's good to see everybody. We're gonna cover a few things I want to discuss real quick, and I'm gonna try to do a quick reading for y'all after this. I'm gonna do a double take on this. With this actually just laying down the foundation, the laws and the rules to follow. And what's the motivation behind this is literally so that you can see, in the future a lot of people are gonna have to be able to be see. Lord and Keys are seer. Don't get it twisted, and I could do some magnetic things. I have some real spiritual abilities or powers. And everybody have their own gifts. And only thing I could do is help people awaken themselves. A lot of us have this belief that there's this teacher, there's this guru, and it's true. But when you get to understand the true science and you get your teacher or your teacher and guru is only going to show you your teachers inside of you. It's your spirits that you have to be a seer to see, to be able to let them lead you. So everybody who's like a Tibetan monk, a Buddhist, a guru, a sage, they actually left instructions for everybody to follow in order for everybody to acquire their own higher mentor, your mentor body, your person you're going to see as your teacher. If we was to say how you go find a teacher and you spend time with him, and yes, he does give you his energy, his essence, and activate you, and y'all share now the same Merkaba, and it starts your journey up to your awakening. But when it's all over and everything was filled, say if you was an empty cup and you fill it back up now, that's what the masters and guru is going to do, and take off the impurities off of you. You will find all he did was make you a child again and make you innocent so that you could see. It's about seeing. This whole journey is about seeing. Once you're able to see, is these beings or other persons that's going to do the work, and you've been working with them, you just wasn't conscious of it. So only thing I could do now, I'm going to use the rosary, the precious rosaries, to give you an example and leave the foundation for us to go into the future, because it's going to get chaotic, and I'm going to talk some stuff from the Devis to the Satan to all types of stuff that's going to sound weird to me, flying around in different worlds. And for you to understand these things, you have to understand this part of it. So I have to lay the foundation first by leaving you these instructions, or how is this possible? How am I going to be able to tell you these things and actually you believe me? You understand? So this is the foundation, and it applies for everybody. Anybody could do it. So the rosary, the precious rosary, really, let's look into that. I'm giving you straight out the Tibetan Book of Secret Doctrines, so that if you want to see for yourself and keep studying on, you could do it. But basically, it's our manuscripts of the Precious Rosary was copied by the translator from manuscript in the possession of a wandering yogin who passed through Gangtok and Skim some years ago and accepted for a few days the translator's hospitality. In keeping in tradition usage, which originated with writing and printing, were less common than now, there are still many yogins who memorized the precious rosary, and if in turn they became gurus, they may transmit it orally or at least expound on it from their memory. In addition, each makes his own manuscript copy of these highly prized teachings, either from such oral transmission or, as nowadays more usually, from the guru's manuscript, in order that they may not be forgotten or lost. So pretty much, it's very important, as you can see, for this purpose here, for us to understand it. If you want to, activate yourself, if you want to see into the invisible world, if you want to know who you truly are, you're going to have to learn these precepts and the rosaries, because that's what's preventing you. That's what the government is using against you. You're using yourself against you, your mind against you. And it's as simple. Once you realize your inner mind, and your mind is, your thoughts could be, you could say, controlled, or they could throw a little monkey wrench in there. You get now a game being played, and you have to participate in the game. You can't just be unconscious in the game and keep letting people take advantage of you, or you believe what you want to believe, don't know what you know for sure, but stand on it. All this got to stop because we have this thing inside of us called the knower, the truth. You can sense the truth. There's only one truth. And so that's why you get now the teachings of, you know, Jesus, or the book of Thomas comes into play now, because it's only about truth. It's no moral. So this will help you to align yourself. So from that, I'm going to tell you now about the voices of silence. The voices of silence is what I always tell you about, and it comes up next. And pretty much I'm showing you now so you can see what's going on. I'm not leaving nobody out the loop. We're going to read from the voice of silence right here, if you can see it on the screen. And these is the precepts to you activating yourself, excuse me, and becoming conscious. Um, Just back, this is the perfect came out of meditation, yes. And this is the perfect now things to put in your contemplation right after meditation. You're right on point, my friend. This is what you need right now after meditation. Plus, it could probably enhance your meditation because these is the laws of meditation. These laws I'm giving you is called the Macabre laws. You know, your Macabre laws work like the Ten Commandments. You might not see it, you ain't gonna feel it, but if you violate certain things, the spirits come off of you. These spirits is responsible for a lot of things, from giving you extra sensory perception, helping you know before things happen, probably even giving you, everybody have different gifts. So I could say from building magnetic fields to make things levitate to PK powers, all psychic abilities. When we're talking about God, you're talking about power. You're talking about abilities. We're not talking about morals. This is don't have nothing to do with God. That's why it's good for you to understand these teachings, because now you're going to learn that from where I'm going with this, there is no morals in it. This is just about the power you have as a human being, the God in you. So let's go into the voice of silence real quick as I read to you. It says, "Give up thy life if thou would have lived." You understand? And this is important because when he says that in part, it's not mean your physical life. It's who you think you are, your perception of your personality, your egos, your these things that you created from your experiences. There is another person in you if you let all of this go. So they starts off by saying, "Give up thy life if thou wouldest live." Because if you don't, you're going to go like I told you before, the moon, all that other stuff. This is what basically they're breaking down. He said, "The wise ones tarry not in pleasure grounds of senses. The wise ones head not the sweet-tongued voices of illusion. If through the hall of wisdom thou wouldest reach the valve of bliss, disciples, close fast thy senses against the great dire heresy of separateness that whineth thee from the rest. The pupil must regain the child state he have lost ere the first sound can fall upon his ears. To live to benefit mankind in this first step. To practice this six glorious virtues is the second. If the sun thou come not be, then be the humble planet. Be humble if thou wouldest attain to wisdom. Be humbler still when wisdom thou hast mastered." So these, you see, is forces we're talking about. Greed and rising, ladies. It's good to see you. Thank you for participating. And you get to start to understand that we're dealing with magnetics, vibration, frequency, spheres, an algorithm that you cannot see of circles that's just floating all over the place. That if you could align them all, they're like the logos. It's called the logos. And I want you to get these concepts right. That's why I'm breaking it down. There is the solar logos or the logos. I make these things personally myself by doing mitosis, and later on, as I tell you this, you'll understand it. But it balances out your weight, your gravity, your concentration, your will, your power, because it's all over the place with your ambitions and your desire. So by you understanding this now, and what I'm telling you is everything aligns simply to give you back your power. And I'm not just saying power like how we talking in the law of attraction. No, this is real power to do things that's beyond normal, which is what God intended for you to do. You know, this gets deep. So stay tuned. All right. So it says now, if the sun the teacher can but point the way. The path is of one for all. The means to reach the goal must vary with the pilgrimage. So you see, when I tell you that It's not the teacher that's going to just teach you everything. The teacher is just going to unlock you. You have your own teacher inside of you. There's no two person that is vibrating at the same frequency. So you don't come from the same place. I wouldn't come from the same place. That would. We would share a world together, that we come together like two spheres. And two spheres don't come together when it's two individual. It only meets half and half to form a ovary, or the vagina, the yoni. And life, you two come and meet inside that little part of it. That's where life is at, is inside the Vesica Pisces. You understand? So if you take two circles and move this side of the circle to the middle of this circle, then this side will be over here. You got a perfect oval. And it's how life is created, how the invisible world bring into existence physical world. So I'm putting you on so that you will understand these things. You see it in your meditation. If you have your clairvoyance or able to see into the other world like a seer, you will see these things. And the difference with seeing in these worlds and actually going to, like, say, remote viewing, or when you're in meditation, whatever your experience is, our thoughts, like, when you go in that world, more than likely you form some type of imagery by imagination to get you into that psychic phenomenon, to make the chemicals go off for you to have kinesthesia, to make your mind start projecting out of this dimension into your subconscious. And so when this starts to occur now, most people like to, like, say they're in blue flame, they're in a purple light, they project themselves into some type of light. Usually that's it, or a body. All right. When you do that, yes, that's fine. And you know, your will bring that into manifestation as your astral body, and your astral experience will begin that way. Your meditation will begin that way. But this is the difference. Let's say now you imagine you going to some place, or this is on your mind, go someplace. You're going to go there. Now remember, I always tell you, upon when you die, if the person pull a gun on you and you're scared, you jump onto that person. You know, in my country, they do that professionally. That's called capturing a ghost. They take your spirit because they know now, by, you know, doing it so long, you're going to jump into whatever you fear, whatever you're scared. So you always try to be at peace when you're learning mysticism, shamanism, because your thoughts control where you go to. Wherever you think you're going to go is where you're going to go. So no thought. You will see the matrix, the whole matrix. You'll see the teachers. You'll see everything how it's supposed to be. So you will want to have no thought. That's why they teach you the no thought theory. When you have no thought, a whole world is exposed to you, the true matrix. When you have thought, it's what your thought world is. It's coming. So it's important for you to grasp that concept. Okay, now it says, compassion speaketh not of, can thee be bliss when all that live must suffer? Shalt thou be saved and hear the whole world from? Well, that's from Blavatsky, but now let's get into these categories. The supreme path of the discipline got the 10 precepts. These 10 precepts is put into many different parts, that you have the 10 causes of regret, the 10 things not to do, the 10 things to do. You know, this is in Buddhism and in Yogaism, keep everybody's macabre and keep your spirits on you. So we're going to start off first now with the 10 causes of regrets. I'm going to show you, this is called the supreme path of discipline. You know, you see it right there. And the part we're at is going to be the 10 causes of everything right here. And I'm going to explain its purpose is to help you get out your body, the astral project. All right? So here we go. The devotee seeking liberation in the omniscience of Buddhahood should first meditate upon these 10 things, which are the causes of regret. Number 1, having obtained the difficult to obtain free and endowed human body, it would be a cause of regret to fritter your life away. Number 1. Number 2, having obtained this pure and difficult to obtain free and endowed human body, it would be a cause of regret to die an unreligious and worldly man. Number 3, this human life in the Kali Yuga, or what we call the Dark Age, being so brief and uncertain, it would be a cause of regret to spend it in worldly aims and pursuits. Number 4, one's own mind being the nature of Dharma, Dharmakaya, uncreated, that is, it would be a cause of regret to let it be swallowed up in the morass of worldly illusions. Hmm, they know this is an illusion? How come we don't know that? Number 5, the holy guru being the guide on the path, it would be a cause of regret to be separated from him before attaining enlightenment. How many people got their guru and is on that path? Number 6, religious faith and vows being the vessel which cometh one to emancipation, it would be a cause to regret where they be shattered by the forces of uncontrolled passions. So really, it's telling you that you have an astral body that's religious because you're talking angels, seraphims, demons, demions, all those worlds now that religion cover. But you don't get it, not church religion, not religious as you see it in there. Religion meaning when you read these things, even if it's the pyramid text, it's going to unlock your subconscious to remember, wake up your astral body. It remembers that stuff. You don't know what you're looking at because you was programmed from you being 0 years old to being whatever age you are. By first your parents beating you and telling you what is what. Going to school, they're telling you this is a A, this is a B, this is a C. So that's what you're taught. You understand? If I took you to China, you wouldn't know no English and you wouldn't know those English alphabet. You will know only the Chinese version. So it's what you was taught growing up that makes your conscious mind make up whatever you believe. You understand? So people in China might not see it the way. Same thing if you go to in Iran or one of them, you see Arabic, you might can't read their language and understand them. So you got to realize that's not who you are. Somebody deeper inside of you, which is in your subconscious, that understands everything. So that's why it's important to catch the wisdom. Number 7 says, the perfect wisdom having been found within oneself is virtue of the Guru's grace. It would be a cause of regret to dissipate it in the midst of the jungle of worldly things. So you got to be careful about getting yourself involved in worldly things. You're not here for that because you're here for you. You're here to waken yourself up. And that's a hard thing to do, but it's about telling the truth. So number 8 says, to sell like soul merchandise, the sublime doctrine of the sages will be a cause of regret. So you never sell the knowledge. You know, that's a fact. You get caught up in some spiritual stuff that you don't want to get caught up in. There is a lot of things that we don't know we're involving ourselves in that is actually putting things on us that's going to fuck us up when we leave here. And it's just waiting on us to get out of here. But that's another thing. So you get an understanding when it tell you, why would it tell you don't sell the religious part of it or the science or the, you know, the healing abilities or the powers? You got to just give that away for free because it's not yours, it's spiritual, and we all have the same spirits. It's just some people are going to tell you the truth while other people can know the truth and it's going to hide it or sell it to you. Yes, peace and blessings, Sandra, are gone. All right, so now it says number 9, it is such as all are being our only kindly parents. And as much as all beings are our kindly parents, it would be a cause of regret to have aversion from and thus disown or abandon any of them. Number 10, the prime of youth being the period of development of the body, speech, and mind, it will be a cause of regret to waste it in vulgar indifference. These are the 10 causes of regrets. So the masters always try to get. S. Crooker, it's good to see you and blessings to you too. All right, the twin requirements come next. This is what it says. Having estimated one capabilities, one requireth a sure line of action. And so this is a very important one, number 1, what says, having estimated one's capabilities. So that right there tell you, when you estimating your capabilities, it's not something that is so difficult to do now. All you have to know is your limitations. That's what it's called know thyself. It's not to see how much you could do, try this, try that, try that. No, you must know your limitations, what you can do. That now show you your capabilities. You get what I'm saying? Peace, Gabrielle Bradford. It's good to see you. Thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate your support on Facebook. You really are a good supporter, and it's good to see you here. You know, It's very important for you to understand that your capabilities has to be actually measured. You have to know your limitations. And that's all you need to know. Once you know your limitations, there's nothing you can't do. Because if you know you can't do it, you're going to go and seek outside of yourself to go get it done by your will. But if you don't know you can't do it, you're going to involve yourself in things that's going to put you in hot water, make you look foolish, you don't do the job right, or it just looks bad. You never make yourself look bad. So know your limitations and do everything to the best of your ability, even if you have to go outside of yourself to accomplish something that you was contracted to accomplish. All right. So number two, to carry out the commands of religious preceptor, one requires confidence and diligence. And that's where we go back to now your will. You know, we ourselves speak the word will again. And when you're a seer, you'll see will is actually what we call a force, and also what we call energy is living beings. When you are seer, it's here, it's in subtle energy. So when we're talking about will, you're talking about the dragon. When you something you can't see, but you're compelled. It's a force that not just compel you, but it give you tunnel vision to make you now take your will and put it on a particular objective and try to accomplish it. And like say you get a phone call, it takes your will away from there now, and you spread your will and you're multitasking. Your will start going over here too well. So what you was really focused on, you lose now. And this don't come out that great. It don't have your essence on it. It don't have that taste that you always put love into like you did when you was concentrating on what you was doing. So the will is still more important, and to understand it's multiple. It could shapeshift. It's pliable like clay and could spread out all over the place. But the more you spread it, it loses its power. The thinner it be, and it's not efficient in what it's going to do. So even though you might look crazy, but focusing on one task at a time actually make your will and your concentration become stronger, and your productivity more efficient and look more pleasant and more pleasable than you multitasking or doing something you don't feel like doing it. When you do something when you don't feel like doing it, there's no will in it. If there's no will in it, there's no essence of you and what you're doing. The essence is actually there, but you put in your thoughts of whatever you're thinking into that. You didn't put you into that. You didn't put your will into that. You could have been thinking about your relationship, the fight you just had while you're doing it. And that's what's in there. That's what that person received. That's what you made. That's what you created. So by knowing your will, you take things that don't serve you out of your head so you could focus. And that's will. Will concentration is the key to everything. And that's the dragon that you cannot see, that your will is connected to somebody else's will, that connects everybody to this thing called our magnetic field that we all have, which is in the air. And it makes us have a profound effect on each other through this will. You could really tune into other people and not say take control of them, but you can have influence into something they're doing, something that you want from them. And so this will is a very powerful thing. Out here on the islands, they call it bad minding. You could bad mind a person. So you stray out the way of people's mind. You know, tell them you're going this way when you're over here, because they know how to send their spirit over here because of their will. So I want you to understand, will is more than what we in the Western world see it as. And it's not actually what we see it as. It's more to it, because that's how people perform tasks, such as you hear the people doing the scamming thing, the lottery scamming, how you make somebody send you money, millions of dollars. It's that will, it's that spirit. So you got to understand how it works. So I just want to put that into your mind so y'all could be actually more focused on what's really going on. And we're back at the 10 requirements that comes next. And we're at number 2. We're just discussing having estimators one's capabilities. And with your capabilities, knowing your limitations is the way you know your capabilities. So number 2, to carry out the commands of a religious preceptor, one requires confidence and diligence. That's why I told you, studying these or reading these, pick up the Bible yourself and read it. It's gonna make sense to you different. It's not for them or somebody to tell you. It's to wake up your subconscious, your angels, your demions. They gonna be like, oh, this is our story. Then they come back and they listen now, they remember. Then all of a sudden you get these funny feelings and they come and your logos start coming together and you're just sitting there one day and everything just gonna start waving. It's just waving because you're in a bubble. You just can't see it. But as it intensifies from them coming and making it now, you see like a wave feel in it, and you notice that you're in a unified field. You're not really in something solid. And so that's where you want to get to see the energy. You're predicted to be seeing energy. But you need your spheres together. Your spheres got to come together, which will equate to what we call your DNA strands going to go up. You have to make your DNA strands go up. When you have 4 strands DNA, you just have a 3-dimensional view. But if you get a 5-strand DNA, you're going to have a 3-dimensional view with a little holographic look. A lot of us see little flying things go by our eyes, or you see little orbs or reflective light orbs. You're getting a 5-strand DNA to give you a 4-dimensional view. And so once that come into effect about by the 8th strand, you could say 5, 6, and the 7th strand really is going to be the same view. But like say if you're seeing light flashes and say if you, with the light flashes, your ears is ringing, you're going to actually get something else coming on. That's the programming. Those two is like putting your body into recovery mode, and they're coming now on and coming down on and coming on. So you go through weird experiences such as sleep paralysis or just an intuitional way of feeling people's energy, emotions, or what they're trying to not say but saying. So these start coming over you now. And so your psychic abilities or your vibratory, it's like your field is vibrating and it catches everybody else's vibration and reads everything in it for you and passes it on to you as one logo. And you just interpret it as just the feeling and everything emotional and everything. So I just wanted to put that into you. You get that through actually reading these Bibles, religious scripts, Sanskrit stuff. Stuff like this will bring that part of you out if you don't have that, because sometimes we get caught up in the program. That's what I'm going through. Okay, Sandra, so we got a witness right here to actually say it's real and that's what they're going through, which shows that I'm not trying to deceive nobody. I'm trying to put you on the path of what's to come. This is the end of it right now, and it's time for him to come back. It's time for everything now to show itself. So you got to be prepared, and I'm preparing you. This is not me. This is them. I work for them. I don't work for myself. So to me, I'll be making beats all day on the computer. But I got a covenant, and I have a job to do. This is my job. This is it. So now let's keep it going. Unceased watchfulness and mental alertness, graced with humility, are required to keep the body, speech, and mind insulated from evil. And that's a fact. That's number 5. I read it again. Unceasing watchfulness and mental alertness, graced with humility, are required to keep the body, speech, and mind insulated from evil. All right. After that one said, my ears are ringing all the time. So you've been getting an upgrade ever since, Quara. That's why you're so high in your spirituality and know everything that you know. And it's not coincidence you're tuning in for this, because it's only going to always be a few. The numbers shouldn't be big here because there's only a few chosen out here. So, if it's a million, if I had a million views, I would have changed a million people, or a million people would have been out here making changes. But as you can see, it's always the God people are the ones that's changed. It's going to be a small amount of us that's going to be really onto the truth or the knowledge or the path, or is going through the psychosomatic changes, the neuroplasticity that's with the angels and a higher being. So, never look for a high rating on the truth. We're always going against. If the crowd is over here, the truth is over here. Remember that. All right, so number 6, spiritual armor and strength of intellect are required for fulfillment of one's heart's vow. And that's important. Because, I'll read it again. Number 6, spiritual armor and strength of intellect are required for fulfillment of one's heart's vow. And please give the likes up. Thank you, Qua. Bless you. And this spiritual armor is everything. What you're about to face coming up this summer in these times is going to be like if you have the spiritual armor up, put on your vest and everything. Because it's going to be psychological attacks. People's going to be vampires now. A lot of people energies is going to be drained, and they're going to have to use themselves to get your energy, which means they're going to be always taking your attention, your time, and power away. And if you don't have spiritual armor, they're going to give you diseases and sicknesses, which you're going to induce in yourself through the anxieties and the stresses and everything that's going to be built up from them. And you have to be able to spiritually be strong enough to tell the truth. And, we following the teachings. It's that they always say the truth, but the truth hurts. And so you got to be prepared to tell the truth and know that there's consequences behind it. It's hurting or upsetting the person because they don't want to hear the truth. They want you to agree with them. But you should never, folly somebody or agree with them. I just wrote this down and I said, I will not show partiality to any person or flattery to anyone. And that's the truth. You shouldn't. And if you do that, you always tell the truth. You'll see you're always in trouble. So you have to have your spiritual armor and strength of intellect to know how to defend yourself intellectually. Talk a person into the corner, even if they're a killer, a murderer, it doesn't matter. You could talk a person to feeling very small. So once you're able to understand that, then it says that that's the requirements of the fulfillments of one's heart's vow. And this heart vow we're talking about is with the gods, is with higher beings. Your heart is the control of everything, and your heart don't belong to you. It's been deceiving you all this time, making you think this is the one or this sympathetic thing. So your heart controls everything from your chemicals in your body that make your mind think what it does. You realize it's the heart. And once you know you don't got control over the heart, what you see, what you hear, make the heart do certain things. You will try to isolate yourself from certain experiences so that you won't put your heart into these situations where it pulls you into stuff. Peace and blessings. Thank you for so much. Your video on that, this path are like an oasis in the desert. Thank you. God bless you, Illuminati 13. I got the artwork a lot for gaslighting, and it's strange to me. Send me the, I get it at work. Okay, I thought you said artwork. I got you. All right, let's look at the 10 things to be done real quick. And this is important because, like I said, we're all on the same path, just different roads, same journey at the end. Okay, so it says, attach thyself to a religious preceptor endowed with the spiritual power and complete knowledge. And you see, that's important right there. I want to read one again. Attach thyself to a religious preceptor endowed with the spiritual power and complete knowledge. And the part I'm first attached to is spiritual power. You hear that again. We about power. That's not what we think. It doesn't say spiritual knowledge. It doesn't say spiritual wisdom. The word is power. And I'm here to help you to acquire your power. So when we talking power, we don't mean power to control people. We talking power like in psychic abilities and abilities beyond normal. So this is what meant by power. And complete knowledge is to actually somebody who's teaching it from an ancient perspective. This is not something new. This is something old. And this something old actually is the only way. There's nothing new you could add on to it ever. It was perfected. And so if you don't know the old, there's no other way. So this is where we at with that. Then number 2 now, seek a delightful solitude seek a delightful solitude endowed with psychic influences as a hermitage. That's number 2. Seek a delightful solitude endowed with psychic influences as a hermitage. So it does encourage you to go find isolation, a place where you could tap into the psychic influences of nature and make that be your little private place. Yeah, hermetic place. 3. Seek friends who have beliefs and habits like thy own and whom thou canst place thy trust in. That's simply put. 4. Keeping in mind the evils of gluttony, Use just enough food to keep thee fit during the period of thy retreat. That's important right there. We've been through this. I've been telling y'all about not eating when you want to. You eat like a program, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That's not real. You know, yesterday I just ate for the first time yesterday night, and I didn't eat for 2 days, and I just, I could have went probably a week. Let me tell you, man, this is important. This is important. Why? Because I'm explaining something to you. When you go to fast, your mind first is going to go against you because you're breaking something. You're breaking an unconscious body. No, unconscious you to be conscious that the body controls your mind by making you exhibit hunger by giving off chemicals at 8 o'clock, around 7, 6, dinner time again. So it's used to that. If you're not conscious, you're doing a rotation like this, and it loves this. You know, it's living. That's the archons, not you. You know, our organs is connected to the zodiac, so they're living. So now you now saying, yo, I'm a fast. They're gonna say, nah, hold on, wait. If he start fasting, then he gonna learn it's not us that is controlling his mind. I mean, he's gonna learn it's us controlling his mind, and it's not him. So boom, you look at it like this. You're over here, and when you're not in control, boom, when you take control, you put your mind over here. You're in control now. So you say you're going to fast, boom. You come over here. It's your will that's going to make you fast. But over here, your mind is over here. Yo, I can't do it. Yo, my stomach hurt. Yo, it's going to be hard. I don't know. Yo, look what time it is. This taking. That's going to go there. That's them doing that to play with you. You understand? Remember, everything is chemicals. Your mind interpreted and you think these things. So boom, this is what now happens. Once you complete that fast, which is now, like I said, I did the first 8 hours was probably the worst part. You know, you want to do it. But I fought. And I realized because I'm wrong. I was putting on weight wrong. It wasn't right. So I said, something is wrong with me. And they say, yeah, right in front of me. And I'm saying, okay, what can we do about it? So they took off like a very thin film sheath off of me of what I've been eating, because I've been eating some foods to try to be conservative to save money. So it's been like a lot of rice and chicken, shit that I don't eat, like maybe once a week or once every other week, you know. So I've been eating that to be saving money. And it wind up doing something to me spiritually, like attach something to me. And I know because my weight was changing, everything was feeling funny, I was starting to be tired easy, I just wasn't myself. And so I said, no, this is too fast to change. So it was something spiritual, but when they came, they took a sheet off of me and pushed it, and it hurt like fuck as they pushed it off, they pushed it off, they pushed it off, they pushed it off. When they took that off, man, I felt it so much better. My stomach went down, my abs were starting to show a little bit back, and I felt like energy come back. We don't see this, but every time you change by grams, ounces, another spirit come on your body. You can't capacitate a conscious being. It don't work like that. Let me explain to you. If I was to take you, put you in a lead box and start taking you under the earth, you're going to become unconscious, more and more unconscious. The deeper I go, when there's no way to connect to the earth or anything in the box, you're going to pass out. Even though I got an AC in there, everything you need in there, food in there, you're not, you're an antenna. They already know this. It was Shulman who discovered this when he discovered Shulman residence. If you was to put yourself in a lead box and bury you, you're not in the body. It's what's outside the body having influence on it. So let's get back out now. Boom. Back out on the earth. So now, as you put on a gram, you're in a different sphere, a different frequency. An ounce, you're in a different frequency. It adds on to your body. That sphere can't hold you there no more. A different God have to come down to hold that. So when you have all these, this is where you get a greedy God on you. A thing called craving. And craving keep wanting to eat. Craving keep wanting to eat because he's that size. That sphere is that size. So when you drop weight, you drop down to that sphere. Sometimes we get fevers and get sick between a sphere. That means you lost weight or you're about to gain weight. You get a bad fever, you feel sick, you're about to move up and eating if you don't slow down. So it's like your body is warning you and giving you the signs that you're about to enter a new sphere. You understand what I'm saying? So if you could control you're eating and maintaining one sphere, which is close to your BMI. That's what you need to be close to. So I fought to see that I'm getting big. I'm putting on extra shit that I didn't have. And it was hard to astral project. When these guides came down on me, it hurt. When they come down like spheres. I got many guides I with. And when they usually come down, it's an even exchange. I feel the force, yes, but I could take it. But lately, I feel like I'm gonna pass out. My head is spinning. I'm sweating, spit coming out my mouth, and I'm like opting out. I'm like, sorry, I can't do this, and I opt out many times lately. And I realized it was because of the extra weight. My chakras was being blocked up. My vortices, you could say, was closing because of the extra weight. So I was like, nah, wait a minute. So I said, let me fast. You know, this is after they talked to me though and let me know where I was headed if I kept going in this direction. Definitely death, or that's why they look at it. I was asking if I'm gonna die. Said, yeah, stay like this. So they took off what was wrong. I felt now better. Now it's up to me not to go back and do those things that put that there. So man, I ain't want nothing to eat for the day. I was straight. So come nighttime now, I lock myself in because the only way I'm gonna go eat is helping other people or whatever because they want food and I help. And so now I said, no, 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 lock in. And I stood inside and I slept the whole 24 hours, woke up the next day. I'm doing music, so I'm, preparing some stuff. I don't have food on my mind. I'm more trying to be excited to get these projects out. So food didn't concern me that whole day. It was the nighttime. My upstairs neighbor's like, yo, what's up? We ain't gonna eat. I'm like, you know what? I knew this was coming. I was gonna try to do another day because this is like getting good now. I felt good. I'm running. Everything is right. I could jump up walls because that's how I test myself. If I could do things that I didn't used to do before, like if I'm like a little kid, I know I'm healthy. I do the craziest shit. I hop over walls easily. You know what I'm saying? Jump up on shit. I walk for a long time till I'm gonna lose my breath and my heart is gonna pop out, and then I'll run. That's when I really start running. I push myself always. If I'm hungry and I can't eat, I don't try to eat. I go without food even longer. You understand what I'm saying? I push myself. And so I bring this to your attention that you have to fast to get back to your frequency because as my body ate that food that was there, all that's what it had to was to survive off of was what I gave it already. And that time your little bread basket right here is sticking up extra, so it's extra full. So I let it go down. John and felt the heat. I feel everything, but I felt better. I was good. I'm back to myself. And it's very important for you to realize that because if you don't, you're just going to be chasing yourself, which is going to make you tired, sleepy. Those things don't happen normally to us. It's the food that is doing that. We don't get tired. It's you having to say, let me go lay down, let me go rest. But if you're fighting with fatigue, tiredness, it's pretty much the food you're eating. Or you need to fast or you got too much food in you. So that's basically it in reference to that one. Let's keep it going. It says number 4, keeping in mind the evils of gluttony. That's where we was at. Use just enough food to keep thee fit during the period of the retreat. And that's basically where I'm at. It just ain't gonna apply, I guess, to certain people after you do the whole initiation. It's a 5-year initiation if you do it. It's like you're going through the tarot cards of your subconscious mind. You're many beings, and you have to unite yourself back with them. Those beings is called the congregation. The congregation in the Bible. We're gonna go through that later. But let me finish this off so I could get to that, because right after this, I'm going to do the readings of Corinthians for you, because I got a whole different view of it. And y'all need to see it from the God perspective, because we've been bamboozled and lied to in it. Everything in there is going to fuck you up when I read it to you, because we've never read it ourselves. That's why I said read this, just for you to understand what I'm trying to say. When we got the Bible, it was not called the Holy Bible, and it wasn't about religion. When we talking, it was written, it was called Helios Biblios. That's what it was in Greek. Helios would have meant sun, and Biblios would have been book, as in So it would have been called Sun Book. When you're saying Sun Book in Egypt, You're not talking about that sun. You're talking about the inner sun, your book. It's about the inner you. So that we got it now. It's holy, like, oh, but do the etymology of the word holy, and you will see holy just means sun. It's a Greek or Hebrew word for the word sun. But you don't understand when we say sun book, what book mean. It's telling you about all the entities, all the spirits that's in the sun that you have no idea about because Apostle Paul said, I give y'all the milk. I can't tell y'all the truth. Y'all can't handle it. You understand? But now it's a new generation. It's time for y'all to understand these things because they got the activation thing for your subconscious to get you back into your flying so you won't get caught up in the annihilation process that's going to happen. When everything disappears and everybody go, you're going to still be right there, but you're just not going to have a physical body. So you have to know how to body double. So they're sending angels and beings to teach people how to body double so you don't get caught up. It's up to you to understand. That's what I'm trying to tell you. That's what this is all about. So get that in your mind and get yourself into meditation. Meditation is the only way you're going to survive this. All right. Now let's get it going. Study the benefit sciences of medicine and astrology and the profound arts of omens. So it's telling you now, that's number 6. Study the benefit of sciences of medicine and astrology and the profound art of omens. 7. Adopt such regimen and manner of living as well keeping thee in good health. 8. Adopt such devotional practices as will conduce to thy spiritual development. You understand? This is important. Adopt such devotional practices as will conduce to thy spiritual development. And in modern times, is your way is the right way. I'm here to tell you that right now. I can't tell you. Whatever you feel instinctively is what you're going to do. Align yourself with your intuition. Y'all is new beings. The new beings here now come with their download with them. Look at it from the 60s. Look at the music they listen to then. Then when the next generation came, it was a different music. Then it was the next generation. Every generation came with its own music. So you come with your own instructions inside of you, and you could tap in if you follow the basic foundation of tapping in and get your downloads and learn it your way. But it's still the right way. It's according to our ancient Eastern ancestors' way. What's up, Mike? Peace and blessings. All right. So it says, now adopt such devotional practices as will conduce to thy spiritual development. This is 9 now. Retain such discipline as a firm in faith, meek in spirit, and who appears to be favored by karma in their quest for divine wisdom. 10. Constantly maintain alertness of consciousness in waking and in walking, sitting, and eating, and in sleeping. These are the things to be done, the 10 things to be done. Okay, real quick, the 10 things to be avoided. I'm going to run through it so we get it quick. Number 1, avoid a guru whose heart is set up on acquiring worldly fame and possessions. I said it again. Number 1, avoid a guru whose heart is set on acquiring worldly fame and possessions. A. Avoid friends and followers who are detrimental to thy peace of mind and spiritual growth. I read A again. Avoid friends and followers who are detrimental to thy peace of mind and spiritual growth. Number 3, avoid hermitages and places of abode where there happen to be many persons who annoy and distract thee. You hear that? 3, avoid places or hermitages abode where there happen to be many persons who annoy and distract thee. 4, avoid gaining thy livelihood by means of deceit and theft. 5, avoid such as actions as harm thy mind and impede thy spiritual development. 6, avoid such acts of liberty and thoughtlessness as lower thee into another's esteem. 7, avoid useless conduct and actions. 8, avoid concealing thy own faults and speaking loudly on others' people's faults. 9, avoid such food and habits as disagree with thy health. 10, avoid such attachments as inspired by advice. These are the 10 things to avoid. All right. Now I'm going to do the 10 things not to avoid. Ideas being the radiance of the mind are not to be avoided. 2. Thought forms, being the rarely of reality, are not to be avoided. Let's stop right there for a minute. It says 2. Thought forms, being the rarely, REVELRY, of reality, are not to be avoided. And so you see, thought forms is what you push out. You give out thought forms. And like when you go into meditation and close your eyes, you should see thought forms as well. They're here, and that's who you're going to interact with, as would be your teachers, your other sides. So you would want to see spirits, holograms, thought forms. They will give you more of the truth of this reality than you're trying to perceive it on your own. So that's why it's very important to understand that. Now, 3, obscuring passions, being the means of reminding one of divine wisdom, which giveth deliverance from them, are not to be avoided if rightly used to enable one to taste life the full and thereby reach disillusionment. All right, they put these two together, and I want you to understand this important. We're going to read that again. This goes back to 2, where it said thought forms, being the reality of reality, are not to be avoided. But at 3, it says obscuring passions, being the means of reminding one of divine wisdom. And then it says, which giveth deliverance from these thought forms, are not to be avoided, if rightly used to enable one to taste life, which means indulge to the full, and thereby reach disillusionment. So you won't see the illusion is real if you see these thought forms, interact with them. Whatever you learn will help you to see things the right way, not actually make you see it how you think it is. That's what they're saying. So 4, affluence, being the mature and water for spiritual growth, is not to be avoided. Now it said, illnesses and tribulations, being teachers of piety, are not to be avoided. So it's all right to be sick. Every time you get sick, when you cure yourself, you avoid it. You learn something new about yourself. This is how healers are born. Most healers and shamans always is getting sick, always taking on somebody else's problem, always involved in themselves, but they solve them for them. And that's how they become such great masters. They done solved a lot of problems and were sick many times and healed themselves. So that's what it is to be the shaman. Now 6, enemies and misfortune, being the means of inclining one to a religious career, are not to be avoided. All right? That which cometh of itself, being a divine gift, is not to be avoided. Reason, being in every action the best friend, is not to be avoided. 9, such devotional exercises of body and mind as one is capable of performing, are not to be avoided. The thought of helping others, howsoever limited one ability to help others may be, is not to be avoided. These are the 10 things to be avoided. All right, these are the 10 quick things you need to know. It says, one must know that all visible phenomena, being illusionary, are unreal. That's number 1. It says, one must know that all visible phenomena, being illusionary, are unreal. Number 2, one must know that the mind, being without independent existence, apart from the one mind, is impermanent. So if you got your own mind, you're not going to last. There's only one universal mind, and you want to tune to it. That's when you'll see all this stuff that I'm talking about. So you just reading this, understanding this, unites you with the one mind. It's not something you have to do. It's a perception, which is a DNA unlocker, which is also a strand grower, give you more strand. One must know that the body and speech, being compound of the 4 elements, are transitory. So, this is saying you're going to be the elements, and you're here for a moment, but it has to transition on to other ways and go back to hydrogen, beryllium, all the elements you're made of has to return and then come back again, which don't have nothing to do with you. Your consciousness go on to other planets and other worlds to have different, more experiences depending on what your soul is trying to develop, or who you are with your spiritual gifts. Those is where you go next on your journey for your evolution. All right. Now, number 5, one must know that the effects of past actions, whence cometh all sorrow, are inevitable. All right. I don't think you need for me to build on that. It's like karma. 6. One must know that sorrow, being the means of convincing one of the needs of religious life, is a guru. So, that, like, if you're feeling a lot of depression, a whole bunch of anxiety, any type of emotional, it's like sometimes it's not what you think it is, and it's actually your angels, your beings inside of you. And picking up a sacred book or a pyramid text or any of these ancient books, including the Bible, will calm those feelings. It's the same like David playing the lyre for Saul and all the bad spirits calm down. You have that in yourself, and if you deny yourself religious doctrines, you denying your psychopathic or what we call psyche. Anything with psychology is soul. Psyche in Greek meant soul. So when you hear psychology, anything with the psychic, that's your soul thing. So we're missing soul things. And so you have to feed it poetry, art, music, and biblical writings and old, poetry that is from the ancient past and knows these things. And so you have to nurture it. All right. Now we at number 7. One must know that attachment to worldly things maketh material prosperity immensical to spiritual progress. So you're saying one, if you chase one, you stunt the other one. Period. That's it. Um, Number 8. One must know that misfortune, being the means of leading one to doctrine, is also a guru. You know. Number 9. One must know that no existent thing has an independent existence. Number 10. One must know that all things are independent. These are the things that one must know. And then the 10 things you must practice. Number 1. One should acquire practical knowledge of the path by treading it, and not but be sure and not to be sure are the multitude who profess but do not practice religion. So what we talking about here when they say religion is going into the astral world, meditation, practicing all the stuff that we talk about right here. You could, hear me say it, but you got to be it. That's what this is about. Being it is letting the beings come down on you and actually assist you in this world. And you will see that's what your purpose was all along. Right now, you're just the antenna, like I say, until you acquire that part of your gift. And number 2, by quitting one's own country and dwelling in a foreign land, one should acquire practical knowledge of non-attachment. So, that's how come it was simple for me to follow this and just do it naturally. I didn't have to read nothing or anything. I just know I align with this, and this is what we need. So I read it: by quitting one's own country and dwelling in a foreign land, one should acquire practical knowledge of non-attachment. And it is true, because I had to let go of a lot of things just for me to make it. And I understand now these things never was real, but I still hold a profound effect on my physical body, because we have spiritual and then you have physical attachments. Here too, you have to know how to separate two worlds. You live in two worlds, and plus multiple other. And so by you learning this, you won't be tunnel vision in just one part of reality. All right. Having chosen, this is number 3, having chosen a religious preceptor, separate thyself from egotism and follow his teaching implicitly. Number 4, having acquired mental discipline by hearing and meditating upon religious teachings, boast not to thy attainment, but apply it to the realization of truth. And that's important, the realization of truth. And this is what it's about. And if you could understand everything, you'll have doctrines upon encyclopedia just off of that one word I just told you, truth. It's so much to it. So that's what you're here to understand. Number 5, spiritual knowledge have dawned in oneself. Neglect is not through slothfulness, but cultivated with ceaseless vigilance. So spiritual knowledge, you have to seek it out. You're not going to just get it to come to you. You're not just going to get it watching YouTube. Spiritual knowledge is an experience. Your ears can't give you experience. Your ears could only make you remember something and regurgitate it. Your eyes could give you experience. Your eyes, only your eyes could give you experience. So by you reading something off the words, your picture come in your head, and it's more of the real picture than what you are going to hear. Your ears can't give you that type of a picture. So when you actually read something, you actually record the words too. It's like it's a photogenic memory. Everybody got that ability. You could stare even at me right now. Close your eyes for one quick second, and you will see I'm still there in that shadow image, a ghost image of me. And that lasts maybe a couple seconds before it fade away. After a while, you can make that stay there forever once your magnetic field builds up, and you could interact with that. That's more real than me on your screen. You have that ability to do that. And you're going to learn over a while. That's why I said when we leave the religious part of it, the spiritual part of it, the purification, it's going to sound crazy far-fetched. It's going to sound like we're doing black magic, left-hand stuff, messing with demonic stuff. It's going to seem that way. But for you to understand this, you have to learn the supreme path first. So this is what we call the Buddha field. You know, it's like you deny yourself everything, forget about everything. Everybody cuss you out. It's okay. I want help, fine. You're in the Buddha field, not them. You. It's your test. You testing yourself by your will. So you put yourself in the Buddha field and you carry it out for as long as you feel you need to before enlightenment or the next level hits you, which is attainment. All right. Having resolved to attainment, which is funny, we're just talking about that. Having resolved to attain the highest goal, abandon selfishness and devote thyself to the service of others. Well, you know, that one is real. That's at the end. That's at the very end. That's where I'm at now. You know, so your journey is a long way for helping others because we tend to be superficial and think we're the hero ego and want to go help people without knowing what the word help means. You know, for you to understand this, is I was teaching my uncle about good. What is good if you don't know what bad is? And I'm telling him only the bad created good. Bad came first. Because if you didn't see what bad was, you wouldn't know what good was. Good can only come from bad. There's no such thing as good. You can't come and say you're good until you experience bad to do a comparison, unless you're just is. You're just is. But once you experience bad, then I could hear you know what good is because you experienced the bad. That's the prodigal son coming home while he was made head of the household. The father meant he had experience, so he experienced the bad to know what good is. Not the son that stood home, the good son that had no experience. So that's important for you to understand. People or Masonic people, how did bad or evil came first? Well, it's part of creation. Creation itself, what we call the abyss, darkness, is bad. There's nothing good about it. Why? When you talking the subconscious, you talking a faucet running, but with every probability in this matrix coming out of it. So it would be the same as me turning the lights off in a dark room and you're a 2-year-old child that saw a whole bunch of Jason movie, Chucky movie, every scary movie. So random thoughts of fear is going to start just spewing out of you. You're creating this. This is what the darkness is creating. Random possibilities. So it's not like how you would say like evil coming out. These random possibilities, something came out of it that we call Enki. Enki is consciousness. Enki called Jehovah too, same thing. Consciousness that became light. So somebody, which is all beings, everything that's spewing out of this subconscious of what we call possibilities, because it's just shooting out. Conscious being say, hey, that's not the dark, I mean, that's not Chucky, that's your uncle, and start organizing, came over here. That's not gonna happen and crash with this and organize it. And so we started having what's called consciousness in the darkness, which became a light ball. This light ball now became what we call Enki consciousness, Jehovah, whatever, because it took chaos and organized it. Chaos now is around the sphere of it, all around it. But it's giving it the hue, the contrast it needs to manifest something out of that possibility of what we call chaos or evil. But it's not evil. There is no such thing as evil. It is that is the creator or precursor to taking a bunch of rivets, screws, nuts, and bolts and making a building with it and going in the building out of the way. And so that's what we call consciousness, or that's what you would consider evil. So it breaks down now and keep falling into the spheres of reality to equate to us tuning into it as a frequency. And once those people tune to it, believe it or not, as it looks to you as the perceiver or the one that is observing as evil, he's bringing good into the world. That is the portal for good. Because remember, from the chaos came one conscious being that took that and made it into something. Same thing. Those that's perceiving him see him as evil, which now will make them do good. So he brings good into this world through his actions that seem evil to you, but it has to be to make good in this world. And he himself that is doing this evil, learn from it not to do evil. Eventually, nobody stay doing evil. This will be just evilness going on, and we all be walking with guns and looking and having all type of. But you can walk freely, some like me, sleep with the door open, because of the fact even the evil got to get punished for their own evilness within their self, and they transform and change. So it's just a journey, and it's a part of everybody's evolution process to experience it so they can learn what good is. The choice after that is up to you. You could do the will of thy Father, or you could do your own will and indulge in your pleasures. And so when you get the choices going, that's when you're on the path. But if you don't know the difference between good and evil and why it serves, what is it here for, you ain't going to get to understand it. That one is to promote the other one. They work in parallel. Like, if you didn't have good, you can't have evil. And if you don't have evil, you don't have good. Everything will just be. For you to understand this simple concept, look at it with animals. If no one say me, if a man kill another man, you will call that immoral, right? That's immoral for a man to kill another man. But if you see two animals killing, like a lion eating a gazelle, you will call that amoral. You don't see no morals in it. It's just an animal eating another animal. So we have a thing where we put morals, immoral or amoral, on places into situations that make it seem like a good, evil thing, but it's not. You understand what I'm saying? They both are the yin and the yang, the black and the white, making one sphere of existence that's constantly rotating and gyrating. It's a balance. Same amount of good people is here, same amount of bad people is here. So I hope you understand we can't have a world of good. If we had a world of bad onto you, what makes the person that imposed good onto you any better than a person who imposed bad onto you? They're both imposing their will onto you. So that is not our Creator's philosophy or way of living. He gave you free will. He could have imposed that onto you if that was the case. But there is no such thing. It's an illusion of your psychology, because at the end of the day, your spirit, if you was back in spirit form, you have no body to call an evil play on. There is no physical body there to say what kind of evil could be done to you. You just thinking, and that's it. So evil is only in the physical world. They don't apply no place in the spiritual world or world beyond us, as far as the moon and the astral world. So us saying evil, we're the one who's the cause and creator of evil. Evil don't exist in you. God don't make evil. Evil exists in the action between two something. That's the only place. Evil is in the air as an action. For you to do evil, you must do something. You can't just be and evil is you. No, it don't work like that. Evil is a transaction between somebody, and that's where evil is in the middle of it. So it's there for you to tune into if you want to tune that frequency, but it's not in you, and that's not who you are. It's not part of existence. It exists in its own entity and its own self, and it's up to you to tune in. That's why they try to teach you not to get into your desires, your emotions, attached to anything, because then you be biased towards what I just said. Okay. Okay. Now it says number 9. Having entered onto the mystic mantrayanic pathway, permit not the body, the speech, or the mind to retain unsanctified, but practice the threefold mandala. And that's the same thing we just talked about when we said about allowing evil to enter you. So you could tune to it, or you could actually tune it out. You know, you will see most people that indulge in this for some type of survival means doesn't really have no influence on you. You know what I'm saying? So that's how it works, really. All right, the 10 things to be preserved, and then you have the 10 incentives, the 10 errors. Let me give you the 10 errors real quick. Let's see. Weakness of faith combined with strength of intellect are apt to lead to error of talkativeness. 2. Strength of faith combined with weakness of intellect are apt to lead to the error of narrow-minded dogmatism. 3. Great zeal without adequate religious instruction is apt to lead to error of going to erroneous extremes or following misleading paths. 4. Meditation without sufficient preparation through having heard and pondered on the doctrine is apt to lead to error of losing oneself in the darkness of unconsciousness. So you see, that one is very important. I'll read that one again because that's why I said in meditation, you're supposed to go to worlds. You're gone. You're not supposed to be in your seeing darkness or just there thinking. Number 4 says, meditation without sufficient preparation through having heard and pondered on the doctrine is apt to lead to the error of losing oneself in the darkness of unconsciousness. So it's a dark place with a whole bunch of stuff going on, faces, entities, and if you don't know the pathway to the God path, you think you're in other worlds, you're remote viewing, yo, I'm out of body and I'm astral projecting. That's what's going on, the whole world. You don't hear nobody putting God into this. It's a pathway to God, but we don't know that. They're not going to tell you that because they don't want you to come back. They're tricking you. Why we have that? You think it was a game put there for us to play? No, it's not a game. It's the beginning of the path back up. So right here, I'm gonna leave this now to do this part. I wanted to read the Corinthians to y'all before we go. So if you all want, we could get back into this, and y'all could give me a shout out. But stay right here because I'm coming back on same thing in 2 seconds with now the reading of Corinthians to get this going on. All right, you are the path to the source. Thank you, UL Adams. God bless you, man. This is just the beginning. Like I said, I wanted to get this out of the way. What will happen if we get back up with the gods? Man, you'll be so powerful and so, all right, let me explain that to you. All right, pretty much, this is how, I don't know how this is possible, and it's kind of weird talking about this, but this is where this is headed, and I have to learn how to. And it's like, all right, there's a being that pops up right in front of me real quick. It's like I could just, I don't know what's the perception to do it, but he pops right up right in front of me first. Then when he pops right up, I don't know, it first is about fixing my body, fixing me, healing me. So, I do believe from people, I deal with from YouTube, we could all contact each other psychically. When you think about me, it's real, and we actually connect that way. But people don't know this. When you talk in your head, I could hear you. It does. It really works like that. That's for real. But when this occurred, people come in your macabre. So the first thing he does really is clean out my macabre. So it's like I see him come, and he would take like something and stretch it. He'll back up first, and then he'll dance with it and do moves. It's moves he's doing, and then he'll push it over or take something out. These is brought to you by the ancestors. I do this by first staring at a star, and an orb will come out the star and drop. I could write a book with the instructions on how to do it. It's been doing it for 4 or 5 years now. When he come down, it's a being, a big man, and he like to hop back and forth. He hop and move, and he does his motion. I was first doing it with him on the beach, but eventually he's in my macabre. So those is one of the things in reference to the question, what will happen when we get back with the gods? Because he used to be doing it to me in the shower. And the shower is where I met Jesus. Y'all want to hear this stuff? Listen. I'm not crazy. I'm one of the most intelligent men in the world, and I do this for people in person, over the internet. I could touch you anywhere in the world, and I do it with showmanship. I just can't exalt myself. So I'm in the shower, and I don't even wasn't religious. I don't even know about religion. I'm a hood dude. You know what I'm saying? And all of a sudden, he's just coming at me like this with his arms spread out. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. This cannot be real. I done lost my mind, but it's a beautiful hologram. Beautiful hologram. Yo, meditate in your bathroom. I don't know what it is about the bathroom. The most clearest, vividest holograms and images come up in the bathroom between tile reflectiveness, sunlight hitting it. It's crazy. So, anyways, like I said, this Helios Biblios is about them. The light. I could teach y'all this, but I don't want to teach it too easy because people is fucked up and will do bad things. But this is not what you think. I'm going to break it down to you. There's something in the light that can make you do things and see these things, and they intact. They're alive. They're right here. And so once you understand how it works, they never was not with you or not there. It's just they never activate. So I used to be waking up with a spirit laying next to me, something dark, but I'm like, get the fuck out of here. And they'll get up. I see my bed lift up and they'll walk. And I'm like, what the fuck? Nah, this can't be real. It's time when something will kiss me. Just, and I'm like, what the, wait, what is going on here? Listen, I'm trying to tell you it's a lot here, but we're not activated. We are unconscious of this. Or holding your hands as you sleep. Yes, all of this occurs. There's nothing that is not happening. Yes, the tile sunlight from the window. Exactly. And so you get to see into what's called reflection. Reflection is a dangerous thing, man. It's a dangerous thing. Don't play with reflection. Don't let me teach y'all. Y'all be fucking corrupted. I don't want to go there. I'm trying to be spiritual. But if y'all gonna know, this is where we headed to. This is what I'm trying to tell you. But this is way to it. You understand what I'm saying? So you have to learn natural science, what everything naturally does, and this is the key to it. I'm gonna break down everything so you get an understanding. But those are the gods. Everything you see that is natural is the gods. You know, when I do my Facebooks and I show y'all just natural things, I'm showing y'all something, but yes, you can't see it, but your subconscious see it and understand it. But I'll break it down to you as time go on, because I got a mouth. There's something holding over me that I can't talk and say certain things because of oaths. We take oaths in these spiritual places, and we condemn ourselves when we break these oaths. But you know, we're supposed to learn these things. So I'm here to teach everybody. But at the same token, there's a lot to come. Now, when this God come and he finished, he turns into an orb, and it's like a little flicker of filament of light first that spins and spiral. People used to see that when they take mushrooms and ayahuasca or whatever. But for me, just by staring, it starts spiraling, and the spiral builds up, and a light flicker comes in it, and then I could open the flicker and spread it this way, and it keep opening up in each sphere, and it keep opening, getting bigger. Eventually, keep getting bigger, and it'll move around, and it'll move around over here, and get the white light off of here. It'll spin over here and get the white, and that spin, and then they'll go over to the green and get the green, spin for a while. Then they'll come back to me, and then they'll get my black and spin for a while. Combine these colors, and they'll make it start getting bigger, and the screen get bigger. I'm not making this up. I could give you a whole nother world science. And when it get this big, I see straight to the back of it like a tunnel. And when I squint my eyes, it forms a wormhole straight across. I could wormhole the same wormhole straight to Cyrus, straight to the moon. I make wormholes straight there in the air. You see the air compressed, a whole bunch of it. And I could shoot straight through. I could teach you this. This is simple stuff. I'm not even telling you nothing. This is what I'm trying to explain to you. This is what's here now. This is what people is doing. And it's the most profound thing in the world. They come back and forth. Look, for you to understand this, you go back to my Facebook. There was a time when I was on there, cock diesel, big, cute guy. That's all I was about. All of a sudden, I start telling everybody I see portals, I see portals, I see portals. I know what portals is. Then from there, it's been about sun, moons, Egypt. You could follow my whole ascension. You could follow to see something happen to this man. Something changed. Something is going on. So it's not something I'm making up. You understand what I'm saying? So and I documented over on this. You could go to my oldest video and see how I went from I'm the son of Ra and always messing with the sun to what I'm doing now. All the different walks and talks was the spirits that's on me doing these things. So I went through the whole tarot deck. I did everything. I understand it 100%. And I heal people. People that could come in here that tell you I go to them and I connect with them in the most profound way. So I'm here to just show y'all the truth. I'm not here to kid y'all. Now, before, let me end this off because it's going to be the beginning of the reading of Corinthians. And it's very important for y'all to understand this. I'm going to put my hand right where it's at. And that's right here. You see this right here? It says, I'm a brother of dragons. You see that? And it says, I'm a brother to dragons and a companion to owls. My skin is as black upon me, and my bones are burnt with heat. That's who I am, Elohu. We're here. Brothers of the dragon. It's not something I'm making up. It's in the Bible. You understand what I'm saying? I have to go where I'm at. This is where I'm at. I know you're there too. I'm not there by myself. But it's not what we've been taught. It don't have nothing to do with what we've been taught. It's something else. This is psychology 101. And it's going to teach you what they're really saying and show us what's really going on. I professed the dragon how many times? And here it tells you that. I'm the brother of a dragon. So stay tuned for this Corinthians readings right now because it's going to demonstrate what they're not telling you and who you really are. And everybody else who's telling you other than is lying to you to keep you here stuck in a cycle of reincarnation. Everybody outside of you is lying to you. This is like the movie where Arnold Schwarzenegger, Eraser. They're trying to erase you and I'm trying to wake you up. So let's catch this Corinthians because then that will make you understand, wait, I have to pick that up and read it. That can't say that. All right, stay tuned. Here we go.